many wonderful mentors, Maninka, Avi, Eric,
You did
started, sir.
and many wonderful
Okay, thank
All
you.
right, sir. Thank you.
Chandan.
I'll go first as usual. Or do you want to go, Sukrat? Let's.
I can do that.
Yeah, please.
Hello, good evening and good afternoon to everyone who has joined and who will be joining. Welcome to the technology focused live session with Professor Dmitry and Professor Bala. I'm Suprat. I'll be assisting along with the live session. We right now have only around 4 or 5 people who have joined in the live session, but if you suggest, we can wait for a couple more minutes. There are people joining in on YouTube also. So I believe if they have any question, they can ask on the YouTube chat itself. If possible, please join on the Zoom link or the Zoom call that we are on right now. Otherwise, it's okay. We can continue. Sir, should I start off with the first question?
Yeah, we can get started because this is being recorded and people can watch the offline recording anyway. I'd like to add that there is a live session 2 weeks from today, which will address every question, all the format and everything regarding the exams. If you're registered for the exam, that's the session for you. 2 weeks ago and today is primarily focused on the content, the video content, as well as the assignments or whatever else in between. That's why we have these 2 sessions. But the third one is especially for the exams. So with me, I have Professor Dmitry joining us from Strasbourg, France, and Sukrat from Chennai. Are you back in Chennai? I made that assumption. Okay, you are. Okay. And I'm here in Pune. So welcome everyone. So over to you, or say hello to everybody, Dmitry. We haven't heard from you.
Yeah. Hello for the people who are joining us. And hello for the people who are going to look this video after it will be recorded. We're supposed to answer within live session, usually we answer the live questions, okay? Or the questions that we didn't answer the previous session. And we're supposed to illustrate our answers with some examples if it will be necessary. You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Over to you, Sukrat.
Yes, sir. So the first question that we have is by Amarnath Kosgi. This was a 2-part question that he had posted. It's on your screen also. I'll read it out for the learners also. How are technologies evaluated? Are there any frameworks involved for comparing similar technologies? Further on, he has given an example, choosing a mobile phone, smartwatch, or a tech intensive customer durable like washing machine, microwave, etc.
Okay.
So,
who is going to start? Who is this?
Dmitry, please take it.
Yeah. If you try to keep things as simple as possible, because the simple things usually works well in practice, the framework to comparing technologies that we use, this is a definition of function that we need to perform. Because usually behind of each technology, according to our result of our research and the application of in practice of our methodology, is always the function. We need the function. We really don't need a technology. Technology by itself, this is expenses. You know, this is the resources that we need to pay. We need to pay energy. We need to pay kilograms of materials. We need to pay by complex structure. So the main framework to compare, we compare technologies with the same function. So that's why, for instance, if I try to compare mobile phone and smartwatch, it is not really something that can be compared 100% because they have slightly different main function. When smartwatch today, in most of the cases, allow us to have access to our smartphone or to our computers. When the mobile phone today becomes more and more device that we use not only to access to the internet, but to make also computation. First of all, we define the function, and the second one, we try to see what kind of resources our technology use, because the technology usually compete among each other for the resources. Let me show you example. We use with our students quite often the music technology because they're easy to understand. In the past, for instance, we used CD in order to listen music, but today most of us are using streaming in order to listen music. And in between, we had a downloading digital music to our computers and listening it downloaded. How it happens that the same function, listening music, is performed by different technologies. We always are talking about the price we pay for the song, the time we pay to have access to it, and the energy we spend in order to listen music. Because for CD, we need to have a CD driver, we need to have a player, and to have access to the music on the CD. When on the downloaded music, we can use already existing facilities, and in the same volume, we can put much more piece of music. And today, with a subscription, we are not really thinking about how many music we will have, because it's mostly unlimited, but how much time we will spend to listen music. Can you see this is evolution of technologies and the competition? If I take, for instance, the microwave oven, and if you look to its functionality, we can also trace the history of substitution of one technology by another one. The washing machine as well. What is the difference between washing machine that we use today and something that we used 20 years ago? What kind of technologies for the same function we use? The line of evolution is towards to get more with less. If I just try to reformulate the famous law of ideality growth that we can see in a theory of inventive problem solving to what people use in their dictionary today. Once again, to make it kind of sum up, the framework is the function that we need from technology and resources that we spend. The main resources, those are the space, the time, the energy, the material cost, and of course, our knowledge. It was my trial to answer this question.
Thank you, Dmitry, for that. I would like to add that the overall ecosystem or the purpose of your study is as important as the study itself. So the first place to start is there a business decision to be made? Why is the study being conducted, and what are you going to do with the results of the study? So the wrapper around the entire study, I agree with Dmitry that you start with the function. That's probably the simplest, because when you look at microwave and all its part, it becomes extremely intense to compare technologies. Rather than that, step back, see why you're doing this. Is this to invest in the business? Is it to somehow be connected with the services of these? Is your career dependent on that? What is the purpose that you're doing the study? Then do the study, and then see if it answers the purpose of your study. So this makes a full complete chain, according to me, before jumping into evaluation of the technology itself. This is my add-on to what Dmitry already mentioned. Thank you.
And I would like just to add, it works even for technologies like today we are talking about conversational artificial intelligence. Before we use a search engine. Okay, today this search engine provides us results for less expenses of our time, which is much more rich. Okay, Google moved from Google search to Gemini. Microsoft moved from search to Bing. ChatGPT, the project, Hugging chart, the project, but essentially the function is the same. We are searching some information. Okay, let's go to the next question.
Thank you, sir. So the next question by the same person is this: how to choose criteria for to enable decision making while comparing two similar technologies? Are there any guidelines for devising performance indicators or key parameters in formulating such evaluation frameworks? And then there is an example.
And if a person is around the table, is it possible to introduce NT2 score? What does it mean for mobile phone?
I can look it up. I mean, when I was putting it on, it was a new term for me also. But I think it's something to do with, let's just have a look what exactly it is.
Arnand Kozgi, is he with us today?
As far as I remember, I have not looked it up yet, but this is a hardware benchmark or performance benchmark for smartphones. So the battery performance, the CPU performance, and all that, they have benchmarks. You can install that on your phone and evaluate one phone with the other. It gives you a net score at the end, but you can also get individualized score. This is what I remember. See, when I was shopping for my phone, when I went through the review sites, they, I think, referred to this.
That
This is
is
what I remember.
yeah, that is almost actually correct.
Oh, is it? Okay. This is what I
Yeah,
remember
what the
6 months
Google
ago.
search says is that Antutu is a software benchmarking tool commonly used to benchmark smartphones and other devices.
Ah, okay.
And yeah, that's the shortest version of the explanation.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Sukrat, for helping us out there.
Yeah, as soon that we start understanding the question, we can build the answer for this question. Bala, are you going to start or who is going to start?
Okay, I could start here. So one of the things that, from my own experience, helps in decision making is the first question that you formulate. So it starts off, like I said, it starts off with considering why you're doing this. So never compromise on that part. Do the business part of it first. Okay, that's before before you even start the study. Just like what I answered for the previous question. And then when you do this, formulate the question of forecast of what is it that you want. Even if it's finding out key parameters, that could be a question also. So once you have a question for forecast, the method that we subscribe is to have subsequent questions, that is sub questions of forecast. What do you really want to do? So the main question should have the geography, the what, and the when, the three things that we talked about in our course as well. So what is it that you want to forecast? Where your geography, is it in a particular region? Is it in a particular country? Is it in a particular region in a country? What is it that you're looking for? Where is it that? And when? Is it 5 years into the future? Is it 20 years into the future? Is it 15 years into the future? And why do you pick that also? That's also important because if you, and this goes with Dimitri's, you please refer to the slide on clock speed. So that should give you an indicator of what can be the time frame in which you want to formulate this forecast. So all these when done, you're ready to now look at, go into the details of how this technology really works. So which is starting with the function. What does it do? Why is the technology even there? For what purpose does that serve the technology? And then you build, I like Dimitri's, I still use it as in several places, which is the hardware, software, and the orgware, which is what is the hard stuff which goes into making the product or the technology. What is the knowledge that you need to know in order to drive the technology, and what are some boundary conditions or framework or administrative details that you need to have in place for the technology to work. So these three are something that will help you understand the technology. Then you get into, okay, now I know this, what drives this technology forward and what holds it back. This starts giving you the key parameters or the performance indicators over there. So that's when you get into this. You have to do all this work in order to understand the basis of the technology itself before you can get into what really makes it tick or what makes it really stop. Okay, what is the it could be a resource that is consuming a lot, but it's in scarcity. That could be the driving force or the stopping force, depending on the technology itself. So these are some things that you need to have in place before you can get starting to really pinpoint the parameters. That's my start of the answer, Dmitry.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Bala. I'd like just to extend a bit what you already said, because the criteria to enable decision making, we usually choose from two perspectives. One perspective is the customer perspective, and another one, this is our perspective as a company. And for the customer, we are building what we name the value. Okay, what is available for the customer in the future? This is one part of the question that has to be answered in order to choose a criteria. But another point of view, what is feasible for us as a company to suggest, to satisfy this demand of value? Okay, so for the decision making, if we are staying on the side of the company, and this is exactly our course, how to support strategic decision making of companies, we make a forecast what will be the valuable for our potential customers in the future. On the basis of this, we elaborate our criteria. What will be the competitive decision from strategic point of view? And strategic point of view, it means the time that enough in order to perform the essential changes in our business, which will give us the competitive advantages. Like, for instance, IBM, they decided to sell their business for the hardware in 2007. In order 2011, they showed the first conversational artificial intelligence. And today they are worldwide leader for business solution artificial intelligence. Their score, NT2, this is a score on the customer side. Okay, this is how customer decide for the to buy or not to buy the product. This is example of score on the operational decision, okay, which can be used also on the tactical level, but on the strategic one, we use another indicators. And in order to get these indicators, we perform forecast. What will be the weather tomorrow on the market? This is the question that we try to answer with our forecasting methodology. And according to this weather, what is more important for us? Is it clear, or it is quite smooth? What do you think? Is it good enough for this question, or it should be?
I think that did do justice to it. Although Professor Dmitry and Professor Bala, I have a personal question here.
Yeah.
So this can come off as very amateur of me asking this, but from the customer point of view, I can give you a couple of examples as to whatever is relevant right now.
Mhm.
So if you and you can definitely skip over this question, but what I make of this question that was posted here is that say for example these two devices that are the Meta Quest 3, the VR glass, and the Apple Vision Pro. So they
Mhm.
both being the same, pretty much of the same genre of technology and solving pretty much the same purpose, right? Uh, as from a customer's point of view, what would be your decision criteria, or what can be an evaluation criteria to pick one over the other?
Mhm.
That's my question.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can start if you like.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Please, yes.
Okay. Okay. We have a two product, and from the customer perspective, we would like to know which will be the preference of the customer. The generic guideline, which is good for practice, the customer usually use what they have to pay less for the same functionality. But when we are talking about pay less, it's not only money. It's most of the time, this is a time and to understanding how to use it. Let me give you an example. A lot of people around the world, they prefer Apple smartphone, iPhones, to Android one. Even from engineering point of view, they provide the same functionality. And Android in platform, they're usually cheaper when they are on the shelf, in the digital, in the store. Why people doing so? The answer is very simple. Because to use in practice, the iPhone is easier for people, and they feel that it is more secure. This is more valuable for them. If you are talking about two systems of vision, the story will be the same. What is more secure? What is more easy to use? Of course, after that, we compare the price. But this is always the trade-off between, we very often when forecasting from engineering point of view, we forgot this very important criteria of human knowledge, how to use the solution of certain problem or certain need.
Very valid, sir. Yeah, I understand that. Bala sir, do you have something to add?
Yes, I can add this that there are three. Dmitry loves this acronym, and I keep reusing this also. It is called TIMES, times for short. These are the resources that are consumed. So
Okay.
I look at so TIMES stands for time, information, material, energy, and space. These are resources that are consumed by a product, a service, or whatever, right? So that's one part of it. The other part is there are three places in which you have to examine what the resources are. So one part is obviously the customer place. So if I take long time to even know how to use it, right? So there are so many, like for example, I use the Linux systems. Not many people tend to use that
Yeah.
because the learning curve in some cases is pretty steep. I understand that. Although some people may comment otherwise, but let's say the general perception is it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Information. Why? Because you need a lot of information to even know about where are the things that otherwise, but Windows and Mac are a lot, people are familiar with the interface. So it doesn't take them a lot of time. Neither does it take information.
Right.
Material is the amount of material that material that goes into this, not so much for making it, but in the consumer case, it may be maybe it takes maybe in a computer is not a good example. Maybe in a car, fuel is the material it takes, right? So how much of material is it consuming? Energy and space. So how much is it consuming at the customer space? That's what Dmitry was talking about. But there are two other places where also you need to examine this TIMES with. So this is only for the customer, what I think he's already answered. But I think two other places are the production facility and this distribution/storage facility,
Okay.
right? So there also you need to examine the same TIMES. How much time do I take to make it? How much time, how much information, material, energy, and space do I use to make this product? how much time, information, material, energy, and space do I use to transport or / store this product? So
Valid, yeah.
all this is the total bigger picture of how we're going to make decisions. Do we bring the warehouse closer to the customer? Do we keep it away? Do we do the just-in-time thing? All this start coming into play. So I think if you have these three plus the resources, then you have a robust system. And all these key parameters start jumping and saying, yes, time is more important than anything else, like how Dmitry was saying.
Thank you so much, sir. Should we jump on to the next question now?
Sure.
Okay. So this is a question by Anand Pikle. In the context of telecom, in a highly competitive market which is dynamic, how can we use forecasting for strategic decision making in network expansion and sales? I don't quite get the structure of this question, but data is an issue due to privacy. If you can make sense of it, Professor Bala, we can continue.
Sure. I wish the person who asked the question were in the call so that we
Right,
could quiz them further. But yeah, I think the first part of it is in a highly competitive market, which is dynamic, is true for any sector, any market. In fact, dynamics is a given. Just that the dynamics may change depending on the field itself. Again, I refer to the clock speed chart that Dmitry has. So when I say slow or fast, in a certain field, it may be different. It may be a few decades, it may be a few years in some cases, it could be centuries in some other cases. So dynamic is already a given. And competition is also in every market. So I don't think telecom is very unique in any respect in that respect. It's another technology, it's competitive, it's dynamic. Same goes for any other technology we can talk about. So the techniques and the methods that we use are going to be identical across the board. I don't think we're going to differentiate just because this is telecom. Now, the values and the numbers may differ. Yes, of course. A certain field may be quick in terms of seconds or years or months, whereas others could be centuries. So that is the major distinction I would like to make. In terms of how can we use it for, I'm going to try and make some sense out of this network expansion and sales. I think what is referred to here is the business decision is, should I just stick to this geography or should I expand it to other geographies as well? So I go back to the question of forecast should be, I'm going to, I don't know, Far East Asia, Thailand and Indonesia. I have good market presence in India. How do I do this? Will this technology is it already mature out there? Is it the growth already there? Do I do this? Maybe that's the business decision to be made. So in that case, then we start with that can be the question of forecast saying, I would like to know this telecom, a subset of telecom is going to, how is it going to be in, again, look at the time period. If you're saying it's highly competitive and dynamic, what is the time frame that you can present? And that becomes your basis for your study. That I'm going to forecast this particular technology in Thailand and the Indonesian markets for this purpose of finding out whether it will be replaced by other technology by 2029. Okay, that could be your question of forecast. So that's where I would start. How can we use it? This is where we start the whole study. I don't know how data and privacy issue come to this. I'm not sure. I'll leave it to Dmitry. Can you connect these two? I'm not sure how I can connect the two.
Yeah, thank you, Bala. Very, very nicely done what you said. In fact, in order to have useful technology forecast for decision making, we need to formulate the question which is relevant to decision that we try to make. What is interesting to see that in a time when we answering this question, we understand that our question was not perfect at the beginning. Reformulating the forecasting question lead us to tune our decision that we are going to take with the result of forecast. Try to make clear among us the technology forecast that we are talking about of this course. This is not the prescription what should be done, not at all. This is like a weather forecast. You'd like to work in telecom and you'd like to know what will happen in this area in 3 years. So go with methods that we suggest. The very important point that we need not to forget that we need to make it measurable. If you are saying highly competitive market, how do you measure it? Why do you say it is a highly, not low competitive market? Okay, you're talking about dynamic. How do you measure dynamic? When you measure it, you can manage it. This is kind of the motto well known since long time. And if you look through the measurement criteria that you choose in order to support your decision, for instance, you are going to take decision which costs a lot of money, but it will take at least 3 years of changes. So you need to have a very confident knowledge, not only information, knowledge, what will happen in your domain in 3 years. This is a bit repetition what already Bala said, but we are talking always, there is no forecasting just for curiosity. The same, there is no decision making without vision, without forecasting what will happen in the future. And the data, because there is another issue in this question, data is an issue due to privacy. It depends what kind of data you're looking for. Okay. What kind of data you need depend not on the data availability, it depends on your question. You can measure, for instance, the advances in music technology by number of songs that you can listen, or by revenue of the market, or by how many people use, for instance, downloading. Those are the 3 different measurements. But which one you will choose depends on your question. I suppose it would help with coping with this question. Okay.
All right, so
Sorry, Sukrat. I think I realized why the last part is there. If you want to forecast, you need data. I got the clue from Professor Dmitry's explanation. And since getting data in this telecom field from customers can be an issue because it's locked by privacy concern. So it's going to be challenging to mine data. I guess that's the concern here. Saying how am I going to possibly get data from customers because it's locked by privacy concerns. So I don't know if that makes our answer any different because we are looking at the technology. The customer side part probably could be a challenge, but I'm not sure we can get other data and there should not be a problem. The manufacturing side of it, the storage side of it should not be it will still be an issue because not all data is in one place and you can just go start forecasting it.
Yeah, about the data, I'd like to share some feedback from the practice. Each time when me or my students or my colleagues faced with an issue about data are not available, finally we found out that the question was formulated not properly. The system was not defined properly. The question is, when we define system properly, we have abundant number of data. Abundant. And today it is accessible as never before. Just one click and you are. The issue is the formulated question is not correct enough. It is very superficial. And of course, if you ask the generic question, what will happen in telecom in India in 5 years, it's too generic. Of course, for this question, you will not find the data. It's up to us to reformulate question. And what I do today with my students, I suggest them to start with technologies like ChatGPT or Bing Search or Gemini. Try to put your question in this large language model. See the answer and try to understand, is it what you are looking for? And try to reformulate your question 3 to 5 times. And when the suggested answer seems what you're looking for, try to explore with this question. Because unfortunately, large language model can give you what already exists in the data set they are trained for. They cannot answer the question about future with a necessary confidence level. This is kind of practical suggestion.
That's a valuable tip. Caution is do it many times. I don't just go with the first one, like Dmitry said. I totally agree with that part. Many times, like it's like trusting the first internet search result. If you're lucky, it may be the one that you're looking for, but most often than not, it's not the correct answer.
It never happened first time. And this is a big problem that we believe that we are lucky. This is the most difficult barrier to pass. Okay, let's go to the next.
I just checked the YouTube stream. There are no questions there also. And as per the Google form that was circulated, that was pretty much it. These were the 3 questions that were posted. So in terms of questions to answer, this is it. In case you wish to talk about something on top of all of this, please let me know.
There's one more question from the discussion forum. Well, let me just see if I can grab that.
Was it from the first one?
No. This is midpoint of data, if I'm not wrong. That was what it was.
I'll just have a look.
It just says midpoint of data. It didn't have any explanation. So I think the question was, oh boy, I should have looked up this before. Yeah, midpoint of data. So the question is, what is the mid value of the data? I think they're referring to the K value in the S-curve, logistic S-curve. Dmitry, you want to take a stab at it? Midpoint of data. Mid value of the data is what it says, but the subject says midpoint of data. I can share the screen if you want.
Sir, I think you're on mute, Mr. Dmitry.
Yeah, I see. As soon as we are not clear with the question, how can we answer it? Yeah, but we can go at least in this direction.
Yeah, the question here is midpoint of data. What is the mid value of the data? The video that is referred to is the one where we explain the S-curve, logistic S-curve.
Yeah, okay. So in this case, let's start a bit from the beginning, because we already have introduction of logistic S-curve within our course, but now I'd like just to share some exercise that we can do a brief in a 15 minutes together, and we are going to use also some tool which is available for you as an Excel. Okay, let me share the screen. And I'm going to share entire screen. In this case, I will be sure that, can you see my screen?
Not yet for me.
Loading for me.
Okay, loading, good. Okay.
Can you try to reshare? Yeah.
Now I can see it.
Okay. So let us try to cope with a question like, what will be the revenue from public cloud application? Okay, software as a service, for instance, in 2029. And if, for instance, I just try to take this question as a question to be answered, first of all, we need to understand what is a public cloud, because there are private cloud, there are public cloud, there are different kinds of cloud. And what is the main function of this cloud? Okay, this is a service. Providers make computing service. We can make computation, including computing, storage of the data in a special environment. And this is available on demand. When we need, we can pay and we can do it. Okay, so it can be from any device, from mobile phone, from computer, from tablet. Okay, it can be really, it should be really seamless, and it should be efficient enough in order to be practical. Okay, the public cloud, this is something that you use since last 10 years intensively. Everybody, even without noting it. How can we address this question? Okay, so first we need to find some data about history. We need to retrieve some time series data. And if I go, for instance, and search this data, I can find the data, for instance, from this source. In this case, and I extract this data, and what I will have the Excel file. I can download the Excel file, which I already prepared in advance for you. The Excel file, which is suggesting the data about global public cloud application services and market from 2015 to 2004. And when I look through the data, I say, source of the data, this is a Gartner. And if I'm talking about Gartner, I know this is a consulting company which usually make forecast. So I need to understand which part of the data is a factual. Okay, this is factual, and this is a forecast. And if I'm interested to answer the question, I prefer not to use a forecast of others. I would like to take just the data which provide me the fact. I need to understand how it is measured. Okay, it is measured in billion United States dollars. Okay, and this is my years. Good. So I'm interested how the user spending worldwide will change in coming years. And do you remember my question is 2029? I didn't specify particular country, particular region, just in sake to make the exercise. We are talking about worldwide. First of all, I remove the data about forecast of others because I don't know what kind of model did they use, what kind of assumption did they use, and so on. And I need to understand that this is a not cumulative data. This is their selling per year. Okay, one of the easiest way to try to answer my question, I use what I have in Excel or another spreadsheet, and I try to build a graph. Okay, when I look to my graph, okay, I have in billion United States dollars, and this is how it changed every year. Looks like very similar to linear. But something goes wrong here on the horizontal axis, because it's not years. Okay, if you're familiar with Excel, this is an issue of type of data that we use. So let me change it from numbers to dates. Okay, I have to format my cell, and now this is a general. I'd like to make it as a date. Okay, does it work for me? According to my limited experience, it doesn't work. Let's us see together why and what can we do in such a way. Yeah, we still have the same. I need to improve it because I would like to work with a time series. What can I do? Technically speaking, this number 31.4 billion in 2015, it is measured at the end of the year 2015. Do you agree? So I can put 30 December of 2015, and it will be good enough in order to correspond to the reality of this measurement. Okay, the same I do 30 of December 2016, and just using wonderful tool of Excel, I do it automatically for all the others. Now, if I look, maybe build a graph, because I would like to have a graph. Yeah, it sounds good, but it's a bit messy here. What can I do? Let me change the format. Instead of taking the day and months, I will keep it at the year. Okay, good. Now, sounds good. How can I use Excel in order to make my projection? One of the way that already embedded, I can add, for instance, a trend line. Okay, my trend line. And with this trend line, let's change the color in order to make it visible. Let's make it a bit more, okay, visible. This is my trend line. But what is nice with a trend line, do you remember, I'd like to answer the question about 2029 on the basis of this data. What can I do? In Excel, I can use different model, logarithmic, polynomial, power, moving average. But first of all, before choosing the model, I need to know how can I choose accuracy of the model. In statistics, we use so-called R-square parameters, which indicate to us how our mathematical expression fit our data. And if I use, for instance, exponential, I have R square 0.97. The closer it is to 1, the better it is. So that's why I keep my polynomial and I use a 3 parameters polynomial function. If you're curious in mathematic inclined person, you can even see the equation that you use to forecast. Now, I'm interested to put my period forwards. And if we have a data just until 2022, and I need 2029, so I need to add 7 years, right? Wrong, because if I add 7 years, it's difficult to see any changes on the graph. My trend line didn't change. Why? Because do you remember we are measuring when we change the type of time, we change it for days. So we have to 7 multiplied by 365. Okay, and if I multiply 7 years, and let me put 8 years in order to have multiplied by 365, I arrive to 2,920 days. Oh, good. Our projections start to be meaningful. We already can see the trend line continue, and we can see that in 2029, the market of public cloud application in worldwide will be somehow about 300 billion United States dollars per year. This is a good idea, but can we do it better and faster? Yes, we can. Because if you look in the Excel, we also have, for instance, the function which is named forecasting. You go to the data and you click forecast sheet. And in this forecast sheet, we can get the result faster. Here, I just say, I would like to say the time, horizon for my forecast is to be 2030. And the confidence interval, this is a parameter. You can keep it 0. In this case, it will be just forecast straight line, which is a average between upper and lower limit according to available data. Or I would like to say with 97% probability, what will be the result of my forecast? So if you are familiar with the statistic, you can even put forecast statistic parameters, and bingo, you have a forecast which can answer not only what is forecasted value according to the data for 2029, much more accurate, but it can also show us the positive scenario and negative scenario. Is it good? Sounds it's good, but not in all cases we can do so, because what is missed with this tool, it is missed what we name seasonality or our cycles. And we know that in all kind of data we have a seasons, and we don't took it into account really. What is a better way to do? We use in board of our course, we suggest to use, we use logistic substitution model, and logistic substitution model work with a cumulative data. Cumulative data, it means we are not looking to the data per year, we are looking what is a cumulative value of revenue at the end of available data period. So cumulative value, I took what I already have with what I earned this year. Okay, good. I arrived something that starting from 2015 to 2022, public cloud application service earned in a total 760 billion United States dollars on the worldwide market. In this case, I'm going to run our software, and this is also billion US dollars in total. Okay. And here I'm going to use my okay. Well, sorry. I need to start new one. Let me go with Google technology. Where is my, okay, I'm just not easy to find where is my link to our
Are you looking for the Zoom chat, sir?
no, I'm not looking for the Zoom. I'm looking for the link to Loglet. Bala, can you put it into the chat, please?
Just a second, I'll just copy it.
Yeah,
from...
Loglet from NPTEL or Loglet from
Yeah, give me a second. I'll copy both.
yeah, let logletlab.com.
This is
I'm
the
already there. That's
okay. So logletlab.com. This is the first
yeah.
one.
And this is you can find this in our materials. I have just to tune a bit and put my data that I prepared by watching video several times, you can, I'm speed up a bit because we are running out of time, but and I would like just to arrive to certain conclusion. So I put my data, cumulative data, into the loglet, and I receive the answer about data trend. And what is the answer? It sounds quite interesting because it showed me not only the upper limit of growth, I don't apply any confidence interval, but it showed me also what is a midterm, and this we arrive to the initial question, what is a midterm of growth? What is the upper limit of growth of worldwide market, and what is the time of growth? Midterm of growth, this is this point when technology grow, it arrives to its upper limit of every year grows. It grow. It continued to grow in cumulative sense, but it does not continue to grow as a growth per year in terms of rate of changes. In terms of rate of changes. What is advantage of using loglet? First of all, we clean out the problem of seasonality and we clean out the problem of cycles. We don't clean out it, we manage it. And we receive the answer, which is much more rich that I received with two previous one. Okay, R square is quite good, okay, close to the 1. I can be confident with a model that fits well the suggested data set. And what I learned that, in fact, in 2029, my technology, cloud application service as a software as a service, will be already on the plateau, which upper limit of growth will not be much higher than 953 billion United States dollars in worldwide scale. And when it will arrive to the plateau, I divide the period A, because this is a time of growth from the beginning to end of exponential growth. In my case, this is 7 years. I add 2023. It means in June 2020, in June of last year, this service, in a sense of worldwide market, was already changed the nature of growth. It already grew exponentially, and since those time, it continued to grow not exponentially according to the data that we fit. Here we can also use the confidence interval. And we can see, according to the data, how our confidence interval will be redistributed. What is a positive scenario and what is a negative scenario. Okay, this was my trial to answer the question about midterm of growth. But do not hesitate. All three ways to get the answer can be applied. But which one is more confident? That we suggest in both of our course, let's use logistic curve with loglet software, which is more rich for decision making, from which you can learn more. This is a question. Sometimes it's not bad idea to get very wide question, you know, that we did not understand precisely at the beginning.
One postscript note of that S curve that you showed, the logistic S curve, is that the intercept was not at 0 to the start of the data. So the Gartner chart probably didn't start when the technology itself started, but after it has come into I don't know, prime time. when it's actually hit the market is when they started measuring the data. Because as we can see, there are some dotted lines backward in time, which probably goes up to 2012. So it tells you that the measurement that was done or started being done was probably not at the start of the technology itself. So that's one point you brought up a while back, I think in our course also. I just wanted to highlight that in this. Very nice. I learned quite a bit of Excel magic also that one can do. However, yes, you're right. I like the richness of what logistic S-curve gives us. It's more holistic.
Unfortunately, logistic function is not embedded into Excel. Even with Excel, we can build our application using logistic, but this is another story that we are not going to discuss today. Probably we will be more in deep in the next live session about logistic substitution model and other things the same way. By the way, I can see in chat some 2 questions that I'd like to answer in short, and we can be back to this question the next live session if you like.
Short, yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
my request to Sukrat is if you can add it to the list of questions you already have. We'll begin the next session with this. Please go ahead, Dmitry. I don't want to steal your thunder.
Yeah, the first question, what emerging technology are like to disrupt our industry within the next 5-10 years? Okay, the first of all, we need to make clear the term disrupt. The technology usually don't disrupt. Technology, they serve to satisfy growing needs, growing demand on the limited resources. Okay, disrupt, the people from marketing point of view, they use this word, disrupt, in order to take attention, Okay, what will be the main players of technologies within the 5-10 years? This is a question can be relevant, but we need to specify in which domain, in which economy, because the technologies serve for the economy. So let's be more precise next time with this question, and we can go ahead. And the next question, which sounds once again a bit large, how can we leverage blockchain technology to streamline our supply chain and enhance transparency? But in this case, as soon as I'm working last years in supply chain, and not only it's relevant not only to supply chain, why should we use this blockchain technology? Who said that this technology will bring really valuable solution for our customers? Connection between our suppliers and our distribution network. In fact, we need always to see what is the main function of blockchain technology. Okay, what are the resources that we pay for that? The noise about blockchain technology in a supply chain domain lasts 10 years, but we're still too far from practical application. Why should we leverage something that does not bring real benefits? Or what should be done? It will be that it will bring us real practical benefits today. This is kind of introduction to answer this question. Probably we will continue next time, because this is a very good question to show the specific things about technology for the customer. Thank you very much for question. Ankush Kumar, thank you very much for question. They're very nice.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Dmitry, for your time and for the demonstration of Excel and as well as the logistic S-curve, plus the answer to this question. Thanks, Sukrat, for putting this together.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
See you in the next live session.
See you in the next live session. Thanks, NPTEL
See you
team,
next
for
time.
making this happen. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.